Hello everybody, my name is Yelita and today I thought I'd do a baby name tag started by Strum, a YouTuber. I thought I'd do this because I really like baby names and I sort of got inspired. I mean, I haven't really filmed lately because I've been working and studying at the same time, so I haven't really had much time, to be honest. So there are 10 questions and I'm going to read the first one. If you had a baby tomorrow, what would you call them for a boy and a girl? And I've been thinking a bit and I thought maybe if it were a girl, I'd name her Avienda, which is currently my favourite name. And for a boy, probably Sasha or Nikita, despite not having any Russian roots. I just simply adore those names for boys. So, question number 2. What would you rename yourself, keeping your first same initial? This was actually quite tricky for me because, as you might have realised, I'm not English, and so my first initial is J, but I actually pronounce it Y instead of J. But I thought I'd just go with the English one, and I'm thinking of maybe January. That's sort of the only name that really popped into my mind, and I think it's quite a cool name. I think the first time I heard it was Josh Groban's ex-girlfriend, January Jones, and I just kind of really liked the name January because it's quite special, and I like special names. So, question number 3 is, what would you have wish you had been called if you were the opposite gender? I think perhaps a name I'd like to be called is Ravn, maybe, which is quite a Norwegian name, means raven. So I think maybe that name, but maybe if I thought about it a bit more, I might have a different answer, but this is kind of spur of the moment and I haven't really thought too deeply about the questions at all. So question number 4 is favourite vintage baby name for boy and girl. I think for girls, I think it's Amelia, which probably isn't as vintage here in Norway as it probably is in England or America, but considering I'm doing this in English, I'm taking an English name. I think Amelia, or maybe Amalie, is probably my preferred pronunciation. And as for boy name, it's quite difficult to choose between Nathaniel and Julian, or as we would pronounce it, Julian. And then we come to number 5, which is favourite nature baby name for a boy and girl. For my favourite boy's name is actually Ravn, or Raven. I don't know why I like it so much, because it's not really my type of name. But lately I've been thinking about the names Foxglove and Hemlock. I actually think those names are really, really cool as well, though I wouldn't necessarily actually use them. And then for girl, which is actually quite a bit harder, haven't really thought about it that much, but I think maybe Hazel or Ivy, which is sort of old-fashioned classic names. So I think probably those are my favourite nature names for girls, though I mean I wouldn't be adverse to calling a girl Foxglove or Hemlock. Well, maybe not Hemlock, but certainly Foxglove could work on a girl as well as a boy. And then for number 6, favourite YouTuber's name and or baby name. I think probably my favourite name is Ayla, which is the name of the daughter of the YouTuber Bub's Beauty. And I don't know, there's just something about that soft sound that I really like. I don't necessarily know what it means, but I really like the sound of it, so I think probably that's my favourite. But I mean, I hear names that I like all the time, so that's just one example. Number 7, my favorite literary name. I think my favorite literary name is Nynaeve, and that might sound kind of strange, but it is basically a fantasy name from The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I actually haven't finished that series. Among my favorite names are actually from there, which is, first of all, Nynaeve, Egwene, and then finally Avienda, which is a name that I used earlier. And number 8, favorite O name that isn't Oliver or Olivia. I've actually never really liked those names, and I don't really like O names in general, unfortunately, but I actually have an O name among my favorites, which is for a boy, and it's Octavian. I actually first came across this name when I read the Codex Alaria by Jim Butcher. Yes, another fantasy series. And I thought his nickname was really, really cute. It was Tavi. I love the sound of Tavi. But then I also really like longer names. And so I probably call him Octavian, but just use Tavi for short, even though nicknames aren't really a big thing here in Norway. I'd still probably go for that. And as for girls, I think my favorite name is Aurelia, which is kind of a nice, soft, flowy, and yet long name. And then we come to question number 10, which is, what name did you immediately veto? Well, I'm childless, so I haven't actually vetoed anything yet. I'm quite picky when it comes to names, and it has to work in both Norwegian and English for it to probably be a pick for me, or at least in English. And so I think that a couple of names I would veto is Egil, first of all, and then Arild, second of all. I'm not quite sure why, but I just do not like those names. Looking at it logically, I mean, there's really no reason as to why I would dislike those names so much, but I just do. So this is it for me today. Please comment, share, like, and hit that bell button, and I'll speak to you soon. Well, soon is a very relative term.